Hello, my friends. Today we've seen a major shift. Trump finally acknowledged that Putin is to blame for this war. The mistake, Trump said, was allowing the war to happen in the first place. If Biden had been competent, and Zelensky too, although I'm not sure he is, this would never have happened. We had a tough meeting with that guy. He just kept asking for more and more. This war should have never been allowed to happen. For 4 years, Putin didn't even bring it up. But the moment the election was rigged and I was gone, the war began. This never should have happened. Biden should have stopped it. And look at Putin. I'm not saying he's an angel, but during my 4 years, it wasn't even a question. I told him straight up, don't do it, you won't do it. And he didn't. He would never done it. All it would have taken was lowering oil prices. If you drop the oil prices, Biden kept them high, made drilling impossible, there wouldn't have been a war. But with me, there would have been no war at all. That war never would have happened, and I consider it a massive failure. So now, what do we do? We've got a country, Ukraine, where 25% of the land is lost, some of the best areas gone. Millions of people have died. You haven't even reported the full death toll. This is Biden's war. I'm trying to stop it, and I think we'll manage. I hope we do. They are losing 2,000 young men a week on average. That's Russians and Ukrainians. But it's like no one even cares, as if it doesn't matter. It's heartbreaking. They're not from your country, they're not from mine, but I want it to stop. 2,000 a week, that's a death field. It's like a civil war. You can see it for yourself. I've looked at satellite images. This shouldn't be happening in our time. Of course, our time can be brutal, as we know, but this war should have never started. Biden could have stopped it, Zelensky could have stopped it, and Putin never should have started it. As you can see, Trump claimed he gave Putin a deadline, but he didn't mention any specific date or terms, so it's most likely just words. Be sure to leave your opinion in the comments. Did Trump really give Putin a deadline? And last night, after Trump's statement, Russia continued its strikes. Bombs were launched toward the Sumy and Zaporizhzhia regions, so clearly Putin has no intention of stopping. And just a reminder, yesterday marked the first confirmed FPV drone strike on Zaporizhzhia. Yes, Russian drones are now reaching that far. The distance from the front line to Zaporizhzhia only about 30 kilometers. Lavrov also decided to comment on the strike on Sumy.
First of all, international humanitarian law strictly prohibits placing military targets within civilian areas. And we have evidence about who was present at the site that was hit in Sumy. It was yet another meeting of Ukrainian military commanders with their Western counterparts, whether disguised as mercenaries or something else. I don't know, but NATO troops are there. Everyone knows this.
Zelensky, in turn, said that Ukraine doesn't have enough Patriot systems and the US doesn't even want to sell them to us.
We don't have air defense systems. We don't have enough of them. I'm grateful to all our partners for what they've already given us. I don't want to complain. We're thankful to the United States for all their support. They've provided a lot, and we truly appreciate it. But when children are dying under missile attacks, and adults too, it's heartbreaking. Everyone matters. Honestly, I don't understand why we still can't agree on getting more Patriot systems. Especially since such an agreement was made at the NATO summit in Washington, at the anniversary summit. And we still haven't received those extra Patriot systems. I respect the United States' decision, truly. But when the US doesn't give or sell us those systems, we're open to any format. It's not even about money. Some European partners are willing to help financially so we can buy these extremely expensive systems. But the US says they don't have the capacity right now, yet at the same time, they're sending Patriot systems to Israel. I'm not saying Israel doesn't need them, of course not. But if we're really fair and equal partners, Can't there be a way to protect Ukraine, too?
And Trump responded to Zelensky's request. Oh, I don't know. He always wants to buy missiles. You know, he keeps asking, listen, if you are going to start a war, you'd better make sure you can win it, right? You can't go to war against someone 20 times bigger than you and just hope someone gives you missiles later. So overall, it's clear Trump doesn't really want to help Ukraine at all. At the same time, he can't seem to end the war either, even though he's been the loudest about how he'd stop everything fast by lowering oil prices and having a chat with Putin. As a result, the fighting continues. Now, let's move on to the situation on the front line, starting with the Kursk direction, which the Russians are actively trying to shift towards Sumy. For now, there are no official confirmed Russian advances, but they've already released footage showing strikes near the village of Hornal. Based on that, some military cartographers have already confirmed that the Russians have moved forward by about 3 kilometers, 400 meters, and are getting even closer to the border. According to early estimates, only 2 kilometers remain to the border, so the situation continues to worsen, even though the speed of Russia's advance has slowed significantly. In the Belgorod direction, the situation remains unchanged. The Russians continue shelling the Sumy region, but the Ukrainian forces are not advancing further into Russian territory, and there are currently no changes on that front. In the Kharkiv direction, shelling continues without offensive actions. Russia's attempted breakthroughs at the border didn't lead to any success, and they haven't made new attempts. So for now, the situation remains stable. However, Russian forces have increased activity around Vovchansk, trying to break through into the city itself, assaulting the village of Tykhe, and pushing toward Vovchansky Hutory. Still, over the past 24 hours, there have been no changes to the front line, and all attacks have been successfully repelled. Now let's move straight to the Pokrovsk direction. Here the Russians continue attacking near Novoalexandrivka, trying to break through toward Udachne, Kotline, Zvirove, while also assaulting Yelizavetivka and Tarasivka and pushing through the fields closer to the highway. However, they are not seeing success anywhere, and over the past day, the front line remains unchanged. All attacks have been successfully repelled. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians are advancing near Troitsk, storming Konstantinopel and Rozliv, but once again, there have been no new Russian gains, and the situation hasn't changed in the past 24 hours. In the Velika Novosilka direction, Russian forces are pushing near Burlatsk, storming Vilna Pole, fighting continues near Novosilka, and assaults are underway on Novopil. Heavy shelling also continues in this area, but once again, no new Russian gains have been recorded, even though in recent days they claimed to have advanced toward the village of Shevchenko. That information hasn't even been confirmed by Russian sources. So for now, the front line remains unchanged. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the assaults on Sherbaki, Mali Sherbaki, and Stepove continue, along with shelling of frontline villages. Yesterday, it was also reported that Russian aviation was highly active, dropping glide bombs on Ukrainian positions. Overall, the situation is tense, but no new advances along the front line have been reported. In the Kherson direction, Russian forces continue attempts to break through on the islands, but haven't achieved any success, and Ukrainian forces maintain control over the situation. Moving to the Toretsk direction, assaults on Leonidivka are ongoing, as are fierce battles in Toretsk itself. The Russians still cannot fully take control of the city. They're also trying to advance near the village of Druzhba, but no changes have been reported in that area. To the south, fighting continues near Sukha Balka, and Russian forces are attempting to push toward Stara Mykolaiivka. Still, there have been no territorial changes over the past 24 hours. The Ukrainian military reports that the situation remains extremely difficult, and the Russians are clearly trying to make progress around Toretsk to flank and reach the rear of Kostiantynivka. The Russians are trying to approach Kostiantynivka. Over the past 3 weeks, the Russians have significantly increased their activity on both the Toretsk and Chasiv Yar fronts. Assaults have intensified, and they've even redeployed FPV drone pilots from the Kursk region, trying to hit our logistics routes in the Toretsk direction. Kostiantynivka is being bombarded with glide bombs, MLRS, and FPV drones, which altogether shows the Russians' operational goal to break through the defenses and capture the city. Just recently, Russian APC tried to charge toward Kostiantynivka like an idiot, but it was destroyed near Nelipivka. Clearly, they cannot break through directly via Chasiv Yar, so they've shifted their focus to pushing from the Toretsk side. However, they still can't take full control of Toretsk either. In the Chasiv Yar direction, Russian forces still haven't made any progress. They continue attacks in the central part of the city, as well as assaults on Pretechene and advances near Ozaryanivka. However, there were no changes to the front line over the past 24 hours. It was also reported that Russia used a fiber optic guided drone for the first time near Kostiantynivka, which may signal new tactics or reconnaissance efforts in the area. In the Siversk direction, the Russians are only attacking the area around Verkhnyokamensky, and their overall activity in this direction has decreased again. They haven't achieved any successes, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Liman direction, there has been a high number of assaults, more than 20 over the past day. Russian forces are attempting to storm Zarychne, Ямполівка, Зелена Долина, Липове, Рідкодуб, and Новомихайлівка, as well as pushing forward near Katerynivka. These villages has been under constant assault for quite some time now, but no significant progress has been achieved. Only Katerynivka was captured last week, and no further successes has been reported in this area since then. However, the intensity of the assaults remains high, making the situation extremely difficult. Further north, the Russians continue to attack Rekivka, but the front line there remains unchanged. In the Borova direction, Russia continues assaults near Boguslavka, as well as attacking Nova Krugliakivka and attempting advances through the fields near Raigorodka. However, they haven't achieved any success in this direction for a long time, and the Ukrainian forces continue to repel all attacks. In the Kupiansk direction, Russian forces continue attacks on Petropavlivka and Arshal in Kupiansk, but their activity remains relatively low and they have made no advances in this area. Zelensky also said that without the help of the US, losses in Ukraine will increase.
Do the U.S. support you?
It's a problem, because I want to. Honestly and quickly say that the US is, yes, our strong strategic partner, but the pause is a doubt. I have no doubt that the Americans are with us, but in a long war, many details are forgotten. In Europe, everyone is afraid that the US may turn away from Europe.
Can you manage without the US?
I think that without the US, we will suffer significant losses, both human and territorial. So, I wouldn't want to think about that, but this is our fate, our land, our life. One way or another, we will end this war.
But we clearly see that Trump today doesn't support Ukraine at all, if he even refuses to sell Patriot systems. In general, friends, write your thoughts about this in the comments. Zelensky also said that negotiations will eventually take place.
Everything will return. Ideally, we want to resolve it diplomatically, without losing people. You can't bring people back, and these are irreversible losses. This number of military, civilians, children, adults, and in any format of ending the war, this moment, no one will forgive. No matter what diplomats say, no matter what they wear at meetings, no matter what happens in the future, there will certainly be negotiations. They will definitely be different, both trilateral and bilateral. Various formats will exist. We will reach a diplomatic solution to this war, because Putin cannot occupy us. And we lack the strength to occupy everything. And this is a clear situation today. Therefore, diplomatically, this war is ending. We do not recognize Russian territories, those that are temporarily occupied. They will pressure us through the US and some partners. They will want us to recognize it, but we will not recognize it. We will return them. When and how, I can't say today. But this is for justice. I believe this will be, in the end, the most difficult part. Because, as I said, territories will be returned by people or time, but human losses cannot be returned. Therefore, we can only do one thing, only one, that is justice. That means someone, the murderers, must be held accountable for it. This will be the most difficult challenge. Honestly, I believe this. Because everyone will look for opportunities among our partners, opportunities for some compromises with the Russians. And certainly, we cannot let go of the issue of justice. Those who killed must pay.
If you agree with what he said, support in the comments. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.